Se whatalo whātu Samoa I lau whasausaunga o lau polokalame māsani le nei o le Tupulaga mua a Taeao. I Taeao o asolulu umalawa, tu'uina atu e le ala ata o le TV tolu ma le Brown Girl Woke. Good morning, what's up fam? You know what time it is. Generation for Tomorrow live on TV3. Brought to you by Brown Girl Woke and also the TV3 management. My name is Tia Maria Pepe Tafi Aluni. I am an intern and also scholar student of Brown Girl Woke, a nonprofit organization that recruits and educates the youth on how to deal with critical issues happening in Samoa. As you know, on Generation for Tomorrow, we bring in amazing guests who are doing the work in our community. We promote our champions as well and also uplift the youth. And as usual, we have amazing guests with us this morning. So without further ado, I hand her the floor. Good morning to the beautiful. How are you?
Good morning, Samoa. So, wishing you a wonderful morning today. My name's Shivania Sharma, and I am going to be your guest today. And I'm excited for this. It's going to be fun.
Yes, thank you, Vani. Tell us a little brief about yourself, your work, and so forth.
Yeah, so as you guys know, this is on Monday, we had the 16 Days of Activism, the launch of activism against violence here in Samoa. And for me today, I'll be sharing a little bit about my story as a domestic violence, family violence survivor. And I'm also a mother of 4. I have 4 wonderful children. I work for the government of Samoa. And yeah, I'm just really active and really love to be involved with youth and youth issues here in Samoa as well.
Thank you very much. And welcome again, girl.
Thank you.
Great conversation. Anyway, so it's been 10 years since Samoa joined the 16 Days of Activism Global Campaign, as you have mentioned. So do tell us, what is the purpose and the message behind that?
Well, in a nutshell, the purpose of this is to draw attention, raise awareness on domestic violence, family violence, and all types of gender-based violence, not just in Samoa, but within our society and our communities, no matter what country you're from. And by raising these 16 days, you raise awareness, and that way people can more just be prepared. They can be more involved in lowering this trend that has been plaguing our community and our societies. Because, actually the statistics show that Samoa has one of the highest rates of family violence in the South Pacific. And I think it was the Ombudsman's office that actually did like a research on this, and they found that 86% of women have been victims of types of violence, not just physical violence, but like even psychological, all types of violence in their homes. And that's almost 9 out of 10 women. That's a big number for any country.
Yes.
So that is part of why Samoa being involved in the 16 Days of Activism Against Violence, it is important, it is significant, and the hope is that we raise awareness and actually lower this statistic.
The numbers.
Yeah.
It's a really sad fact that the numbers, compared to the past years of doing research, is still increasing, and it's also good for everyone to, be hands-on and finding solutions to violence. So I applaud you for being part of that. But, anyways, so what was the environment then on Monday when the march was held at the government building, and you were part of that?
Yeah.
So what was that like?
Yes, if you weren't aware, so actually Samoa launched the 16 Days of Activism on Monday, and as a public servant, all the public service workers were also part of this march. So it wasn't just a public service, but it was all types of organizations that were coming together just to, in one accord, to raise awareness and also to be actively involved in this. So it was great to see so many different organizations, so many people. We all dressed in black.
Yes.
And, that was just as well to raise awareness. You see someone wearing black in the next few days, that's what they're wearing black for. It's to raise awareness that, there's an issue in our society with domestic violence, with family violence, that it's become a norm. And the atmosphere at the government building, it was great just to have so much support. We had all types of officers and people coming out with their signs, coming out with, cards with, different types of sayings, but basically the underlying factor was everyone wanted to, raise awareness and address this issue, because it's not a new thing. It's been something that's been happening in, our community for a long time.
Way long. And even the students were part of that. The students of NUS and from all over Samoa, which was really, really beautiful. So what does it mean for you, not only as an individual, but as a woman, to be part of this initiative?
Well, I think it's great that women do have a voice and women are outspoken, especially Samoan women, because if you're a Samoan woman, if you're a Pacific Island woman, you would know that probably in a couple of generations ago, the women weren't very outspoken. It was almost, they were almost shunned into not speaking out. And that's not for every community, but for the majority of communities, it's the men that have more of the say. And it's great to have women speaking out, and for me as a woman, it's great to be able to share my story and to share with, my community and people that I have influence with, that this is something that needs to be addressed. We can't keep, hiding it under the rug. But I think for me personally, it would be great to have more men speaking about this, because the women, they can, they can be bold, they can openly share, but when a man says something, something's gonna shift. And I think my encouragement is for men, husbands, leaders in the family, like for you guys to really stand up and be informed of what's going on. And those who are informed, thank you so much. And also the second thing is to actively support women. And it's not just in raising awareness that you can support women and children and, our communities on this gender-based violence issue, but also being leaders in your homes, being, people that can really facilitate change in your homes. That's what's really gonna affect this.
Yeah, exactly. Having more men to join the initiative and, celebrate our women. But also, knowledge is power, right, Vani? You don't, have to do much, but as long as you're aware and you educate yourselves about these certain facts, then the world will be a better place. But anyways, hopefully. So in your own personal experience, how can we as a community, in our families, help cope with all these issues around violence, whether it be family or domestic, teenage pregnancy, etc., and help decrease the numbers?
Well, thank you for the question. I think I'm gonna make it a little bit easier and just kind of break that question down.
The floor is yours.
And firstly, just to share a little bit my background. So I was a teen mom. I fell pregnant when I was 15. And by the time I was 21, I had already had my 4 children that I love so much. And I was in a long-term relationship for 5 years. And it was a very abusive, toxic relationship. And at the time, I felt very stuck. I felt, I didn't really know what to do. I didn't know who to go to. Plus the fact that in Samoa, whether people acknowledge it or not, there is a stigma against women speaking out against violence and issues in their own home. So even women don't feel safe in sharing what is going on, in sharing the abuse or sharing, what's happening in their own homes with other people, just because of that pressure. I feel like there's a pressure in our communities and in society to kind of keep silent, because people just want the family to be like all okay on the surface. And we're not about that surface okay. We want everything to be, you know, the way it should be in the roots of the family. So I went through that, you know, that life was my life every day, being abused and just going through such a hard time. And I think for me, the final, you know, the end of it, the final thing for me when I finally put my foot down was when I had to call the police because I almost, you know, got violently, let's just say I almost got killed. It got that far. It got that far before I was like, okay, this is enough. And I let it go on for 5 years. And ladies, please do not do what I did. If you are in an unsafe situation, in all seriousness, you know, you need to get to a safe place and you need to get out of that. Whatever the situation is. But so that's what happened to me, and it wasn't until I realized, like, no, this is not what I deserve. I am worth so much more than this, when I finally got a backbone and decided to leave that relationship. And one of the best decisions that I did for my own safety, for my own mental health and well-being, and also for my children. So that's a little bit about, you know, my experience. Now, the second part of your question was about, you know, how can we address these things? How can we, you know, how can we actually help this problem and bring down the numbers, bring down the statistics? Well, for me and my experience and what I believe is that it all starts in the home. And healthy families start in the home. I want to say that again. Healthy families start in the home. And there have been a lot of funding. There's been a lot of initiatives. There are a lot of different organizations, not just in Samoa, but globally, that are trying to combat this issue. But can I present to you today that maybe we should start in the families? Because it's the young people and the next generation that really need to be brought up, to be trained up in, I'm gonna say it, in Christian principles. Because so many people in Samoa, we all go to church. Everyone grows up knowing church. But it's the lack of applying the principles to our life that results in these type of societal issues. So start in the family. Dads, you need to be present. You need to show the children. You need to show your children how to treat their mother, how to treat your wife. And if there's no example set in the home, then the children are just going to run free, going with whatever, you know, whatever that society, social media, that people are doing. So my advice, start in the home.
Yeah, whatever the trend is at that moment. But we'll be right back right after this short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, Samoa, from that short commercial break. We still have the beautiful and the amazing lady here with me. So I'm going to give her back the floor to, elaborate a little bit more and say whatever it is that you want to say before we went to that break.
Thank you so much, Tia. So before we went to commercial break, I was just quickly sharing on the importance of healthy families that create healthy people, and I also wanted to touch on teen pregnancy. So teen pregnancy, the statistics say it's going up in Samoa. But I want to present to you today that an alternative thought regarding this issue. So I'm going to speak on my own experience. So I can actually trace back almost like the downfall of my life, into teen pregnancy and all types of different things that I was doing in my lifestyle, was when my dad left. And I want to say that statistics do show that an absence of a father in a home, whether or not you have your father, with you, but the absence of him, the absence of a father leading and guiding a family, the trend is that the children in that relationship actually, they have more, they're more likely to have societal issues such as teen pregnancy, drug abuse, drug addiction, all types of things. And this is not just here in Samoa, but this is something that studies have shown in other different countries. And I could say for myself, when I had the absence of a father in my home, that's when I kind of fell into all types of different things that I shouldn't have done. And I don't regret the journey that I've lived, but I have learned a lot. And I want to really encourage the men in Samoa. I want to encourage the fathers, the husbands, the brothers, that this is your time to stand up and really stand with our community, stand with the women with this issue, because it's not just a women's issue. It's not just a children's issue. This is all our issue. And something that I've been thinking of a while was, maybe the rates aren't actually going up. Maybe it's just because women are feeling so safe that they can actually openly report it. That's
exactly.
Yeah, maybe it's always been like this, but it's just the women that are feeling more free to share and be open. So yeah, I do thank, and I'm really grateful for the many organizations who have been forerunning, raising awareness of this issue and trying to combat it. But I also feel that the leaders in our families, which are the men, and also leaders in our communities, our pastors, our, teachers, that this is a place where they can really influence the young people. They can really influence what's going on. And, maybe for the older generation, maybe it will be a challenge to shift mindsets. But for the young people, they are the generation that are going to, catch the baton. They're going to be the forerunners of our country and our nation, of our society. And it's really up to us now to ensure that in the home, in the school life, that we are, training them up. I want to say what the Bible says, train up your child, so that when he's old, that he would know how to live right. And yeah, I think that's a little bit of what I wanted to share on that.
Speaking of generational curses and breaking that's like one big thing, breaking the cycle and, rewriting history and writing your own fate. And yes, having a man figure in your life does really play a huge role to you as a person, molding you as a young woman and so forth. And I know a lot of people are with that as well, and a lot of people could agree. And wow, thank you very much for your vulnerability. I actually met the beautiful over here through a workshop that that I was part of, and she was one of the guest speakers, and it was really inspirational. And to have her here with me and sharing her story with you this morning is really beautiful, because she herself inspired me, and I was hoping, I know definitely that she has inspired you as well. But anyways, for your next question, Wani, what's the best advice you could give your younger self?
The best advice I could give my younger self, I'm actually gonna quote, there's a mama that I love so much here in Samoa. Her name's Salote Meredith, and I wanna quote her, but this is what I would tell myself. honey, you are not a beggar, so don't go begging for love. You're there to make a selection. And I know that sounds funny, but young women and women in general, women are wired to want to be loved. That's just how God has wired women. And young women who do not have that covering of a father or do not have, they will be searching for love. This is my own experience. And they will search for love in places where they're not actually going to find it. They may find a relationship, they may find something that will be a temporary fix. But when you have such a victim mindset or such a defeated mindset, you will go looking for love in places where, you're not gonna find it, but you're actually gonna find something else that could actually pull you down into a spiral and until you're out of control. And that's what happened to me. So I would tell my younger self, you're not a beggar, don't go begging and looking for love. And you're supposed to make a selection. Like, you select what you want in and out of your life. You select who you end up with. And I think for young women specifically, there is an expectation to just settle down and, just continue with life just as the way that the last generations have. But I want to share to you today, really think hard about what you want in life. Think hard about the kind of person you want to be with, because once you have a ring on that finger, it's very hard, especially in Samoa, it's very hard to get out of that relationship. Exactly. And you don't really know a person well until you see them angry. So young women, if you've never seen him angry, you wait, you don't know what you're up to. If they cannot control their anger when you're dating, when you're married, it's, girl, just don't do it.
No way, girl. Yes, thank you very much for that. Thank you very much, Mani, for that. And also, before we leave, I'd like to ask you, what encouraging and, empowering words would you say to our young, aspiring youth out there, or, a teenage mom or a single mom, or, a victim of violence that's watching us this morning?
Well, thank you for that question. I would say to you, firstly, if you are in an unsafe place, an unsafe relationship where you are being abused, where you are being violated, I want to share to you today, please get yourself into a safe place and make sure that you're safe, your children are safe, and that you are secure. Firstly, that's what I would say. But secondly, for the young people, if you've been a victim of not just violence, but of anything, I want to let you know that what happened to you is not who you are. What people did to you is not who you are. And you were created with an amazing purpose in life. You were created to do amazing things. And this one thing that someone did, I don't want you to define your whole life around that, because that's not your identity. That is not who you are. And I also want to share to the teen moms or the young women or the single moms, because I know what it feels like. I'm a single parent, and it is hard. But I want you to know that one day you're going to turn around and you're going to see your children, and you're going to know that it's worth it, that the sacrifice and the pain and the tears that you cried that nobody saw, it's going to be worth it. And you are a blessed woman. You are blessed with amazing blessings from the Lord. Yes. So I want to encourage you with that. What happened to you is not who you are. It doesn't define you. And you have the power to rewrite your story. You can either choose to be a victim, or you can choose to be a victor. A victor, like victorious. So
amen.
You got this. And I also want to share what really helped me. Not only the grace of the Lord, but what really helped me is finding a community that supported me. So also, church families, find a community that will support you on your journey as you go through healing, because you need to be healed, girl. You need healing, and the Lord can do it for you.
Yes, thank you very much for that, Ronnie. That was beautiful. And also, what happened to you is never your fault as well. I think a lot of people will victim blame, but usually it's never. And putting yourself in a toxic relationship or a toxic environment is really hard. And don't listen to what people say. Whether you leave after 5 years or 11 years, how many months after the abuse,
Yeah.
at least you left. You know, no one knows how it feels. People outside looking inside should never have the right to tell you how you should deal with a situation that they have never even experienced. And, you know, to our young women today, I've seen a lot of teen moms, and, you know, women are beautiful. Women are amazing. To be able to bring life into this world, even without a man figure, you'll be fine, girl. As you've said, you pick and choose.
Yes.
But anyways, thank you for being with me this morning.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know if you've noticed, Samoa, but I am hosting by myself, which is something that's really unusual.
She's doing amazing.
Shout out to my co-host, who is in Auckland at the moment, Prince. Shout out to you, and shout out to our founder, Brown Girl Woke, Maluseo Doris Tulifau. Good morning, boss. And yeah, thank you very much for tuning in, and thank you to the beautiful Vani for being here with me and doing the work and being part of the initiative and just being hands-on to, you know, help solve the problem. And thank you also for sharing your story. That was amazing. And we try not to cry, but yeah.
Okay, girl.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
And your energy and your light. And I wish you all the best. And your beautiful kids, I know, no doubt that they will be raised right and beautiful. A new cycle is here, Samoa, you know.
Yes.
Make your own history, you know. Do not rewrite the past. But there's our time. I was waiting for that. But once again, we have another amazing guest with us on our second segment, as always. So we'll go into a short commercial break, and we'll be right back. So don't go anywhere. Talofa lava Samoa. Welcome back from that short commercial break. If you are just tuning in, this is Generation for Tomorrow, or Tupulaga mo Taeao, brought to you every Wednesdays live 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. And without further ado, we have our second special guest with us this morning. But before I introduce him, here's just a little short clip. So.
Silpu manawa alwatu Malaysia lunga.
Pena fasia mai abisai va peolo to tau I lalo e ato a.
Tusanga o ngā tau ai te tonu o sa whai mā losi ro. O te ai atu I a pēua lai langa e nongo ang e ile o apisai ile ma mafo lima.
And yes, here with us, without further ado, I'll give him the floor. Congratulations once again, and welcome to Generation for Tomorrow.
Thank you. I'm Ato Plodzicki Whangali. I'm from Samoa in Tupuola.
Wow, straight in there. Anyways, let's talk about that clip. That was amazing. I believe that was your first ever professional fight?
Yeah, that's my first professional fight.
How was it?
It was good. It was not how I expected it. I thought he was gonna come out stronger, but he was on the back foot. So I just pushed the pace, see how his fitness was, and then yeah, I knocked him down the first time. And I was like, oh, he looked a bit scared, so I tried to push the pace more. So that's what I did, and I got the stoppage.
You got the win. Congratulations. Yeah. Wow. I know everyone is really, really proud of you. And anyways, what an honor to have you here on our show. So anyways, when did you start boxing, and when did you know you wanted to do this professionally?
I started boxing when I was 5 or 6 years old. Wow. Yeah. So around 2005 or 2004. So yeah, I started boxing, and then I stopped boxing actually, and then I played rugby league and rugby union, and I struggled with my weight also. So I came back to boxing for weight loss because I was a beast kid. I was like 115, 120, and so I came back to boxing, and then I fell in love with the sport again. So that was the thing, and it showed me how to be more disciplined as well. So I really love boxing now.
And you've been here since then?
Yeah, ever since.
Wow.
Haven't turned back.
Okay, so you've been boxing for Samoa since you were a teenager, you know, fighting for our country at the Pacific Games and Commonwealth Games, and, you know, which is really amazing. So what does it mean for you to, you know, represent our people?
It means a lot to me to represent Samoa. I wanted to represent Samoa when I was younger, when I was, how old was I? 15 years old. But I didn't get the opportunity to represent, because I won the nationals at the time, but I was too young. That was the problem. Wow. So I came back as a teenager, 17 years old, and I represented them in Bahamas. And ever since, I've always represented Samoa.
Beautiful. So, what would you say is the greatest challenge that you have faced during your journey, and how did you overcome that?
Every fight is a challenge. Nothing comes easy. Everything in life goes in hand with boxing for me. Like, there's always challenges. There's always losing and winning. So you just got to overcome it. Probably one of the biggest things is probably, what would I say? Going to the Olympics was probably one of my greatest challenges. I was training at home. Like, we didn't have the facilities for it. That was probably the biggest thing. And throughout my whole career, I've been training at home. So it's a big achievement to be training at home, but imagine if I had the facilities to back it up and the sponsorships. So I reckon I could have done way better, but look where I am now with no facilities.
Look where you are, Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe your campaigns and so forth, the things that you have used for your journey was self-funded. Am I right?
Most of it was self-funded. But I had a lot of big help from Maris Boxing, which I really appreciate throughout the years. They believed in me since I was 15 when I first came over here, so I really appreciate them. And then most of my family as well. My family's helped me out throughout the years, so I appreciate all of them as well.
That's beautiful. So how has this sport helped you mentally?
Mentally, it's a hard sport, to be honest. But it helps you with discipline, because you need to be disciplined. Discipline with your eating, discipline with your fighting. You can't lose your head. You can't get angry. So there's so many things in boxing. So you always got to stay disciplined and just follow your path. That's the main thing.
That's great. It's for your anger management as well.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll be right back right after that short commercial break with more. So do stay tuned. Talo Falava Samoa, and welcome back. Before we went into our short commercial break, we're still here with the amazing, talented Ato. I asked him, how has this sport helped you mentally? So I'll let you continue.
So I was just saying, with discipline, it played a big part with me. So discipline is just everything. So especially if you can't go on the street just fighting anyone.
Yes.
So yeah, so it's a big thing for me. Like on the street, I've always had like encounters, but I've always just walked away.
Ignored.
Yeah. Like there's no point. Like we don't get paid for this, so it's better to just walk away.
And why not fight in the ring, huh?
Yeah.
That's amazing. So anyways, you have had your fair share of wins.
Yeah.
You know, but also losing. So what would you say is the best way to cope with the loss?
Losing's a part of the game. That's the thing. Like, it's like life. You gotta just cope with it and just move on. That's probably the biggest thing I've learned. You can't dwell on it as well. So just keep going forward. If you lose, you lose. Just keep going forward. The main goal is just don't stop moving towards your goal. That's probably the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, man. So just up and forward.
Yeah.
Don't be a sore loser.
Yeah.
Okay. Noted. Anyways, so before we leave, I'd like to ask, what words of encouragement do you have for our upcoming boxers out there with big dreams, and also our school fighters on the streets that are watching you today?
Probably the biggest thing for me is setting goals in sports or whatever you're doing. So set maybe a 1 week goal, and then after that set maybe a 1 month goal, then 6 months, 1 year, and then 4 years. And that's how I progressed. So my main goal was the Olympics, and to get to the Olympics I had to win the nationals. After that I had to go to win the other trials, get more experience. So just make small goals and build it into your bigger dream. Yes. And for the school fighters out there, just leave it to the boxers. It's because one hit, someone hits the floor, you can pass away. So it's a hard thing. Probably the biggest thing is walking away. People say you're a coward for walking away. I always get it all the time. People offering me out to fight on the street, and I walk away. And I always get like, oh, you're a coward, what are you walking away for? You're not a man. But it also takes strength to walk away as well. So that's probably the biggest thing for me.
Definitely. Thank you very much for that. And, you know, the power is not what you can do, but it is, the power is in what you can do but choose not to do. Yeah. That makes sense. But yes, that relates to that. And also, I'd like to ask, so what's next for you in your career now? After that big fight, what's the next move?
So I had my first professional fight, so I'll be having my second professional fight back here in Samoa. So.
Oh, when is that?
Should be in June or May, but.
Next year? Yeah,
next year. Wow. So planning it very soon, and I hope to come back to beautiful Samoa.
I hope so. And I hope to get a free ticket as well. But anyways, you have done amazing big things. And, you know, any shout outs that you want to give out?
Probably to my family for always supporting me. That's probably the biggest thing. And to Maris Boxing for always helping me out throughout my career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And thank you very much for your time on behalf of Maluseo Torres, Tulifau, Brown Girl Woke, and also TV3 Management and Generation for Tomorrow. Thank you for being here with us and also helping us inspire the youth out there. And I know that our young champions will stop fighting on the streets and get in the ring with you, you know? Agree?
I agree. Like, it's all about discipline.
It's all about that. That's amazing. And that it is beautiful what you pointed out about people calling you a coward just for walking away from causing trouble and everything else. So yes, I myself am learning as well. So I will keep that in mind. Discipline is everything. And yeah, might need to learn self-defense. But we have come to the conclusion of Generation for Tomorrow this morning. Once again, thank you. Thank you for always waking up to us, whether you're tuning in from work, in the comfort of your home, and also talofa lava to all our tourists coming in, and also the amazing Ato, who is based in Australia, I believe.
Sydney, yeah, Sydney.
Sydney, Australia. Anyways, thank you for being here with us. Big shout out to the boys behind the magic, the boys behind the screen, TV3 management, to my co-host Prince, who is in Auckland, bringing me chocolate later on, as he promised, and to our boss, Maluseu Torres Tulifau, who is in America, homeland. And good luck, everyone. Have an amazing week. Have an amazing, beautiful, peaceful Wednesday. Be safe out there. Heavy on the be kind. And yeah, good luck on celebrating 16 days of activism and making change in Samoa. Once again, thank you, Ato.
Thank you.
Against the odds. Right?
Yeah, against the odds.
Anyways, thank you, and ta lofa lava and so far so for and manuela so. Bye. See you next week.